What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the program, speaking of entertainment, I got Bennett Breslow out of New York City. New York City? Yeah, New York City. Bennett Breslow, singer, songwriter, rapper, so much more. Producer, loop maker. Yeah, you're going to hear a little bit more about Bennett Breslow in the next few minutes, so stick around. Kind of excited for you to hear all about Bennett Breslow. And here, I'm so excited, I can't even talk. This week's shows, my one public show is over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. That's my faithful one public show that I have almost every Friday night. And then Saturdays, I save those for the private shows. Yeah, the weddings, the corporate events, the birthday parties. Something different, you know? I like to play for the people. It's so much fun. But come and find me at the Rab on Friday night from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. It's the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. We set up the concert starring you. That's right. You get to be the star, at least for about 3 or 4 minutes, however long it takes to make a song. Kind of exciting. And they got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, come and check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, 8 p.m. till 12:30 in the AM. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Bennett Breslow. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/Keys Dan. Hey, if you're driving a car or riding a bike or doing something that, video would prevent you from doing, or you might get hurt, don't watch the video. Stay with the audio. But, if you're just sitting, relaxing, maxing, check out the video. All right, that's enough of that. Why did I do that public service message? People know when they can watch video and when they can't watch video. Live your life. I got him on Skype. Let's Skype Bennett Breslow now. Well, all right, Mr. Bennett Breslow in the house. Look at that beautiful face. Look at that smile. Look at that punum. For the people that are listening to the audio version of this, they're missing out.
That's right.
If you have FOMO, you can FOMO no mo. Just check out the video on my YouTube page, and you'll see Bennett Breslow right there next to me. Yeah,
that's right.
He's a looker. He's a looker.
I appreciate that.
So unless he's taken, ladies, take a look.
That's right. Oh. I am not. So.
Look at that. He's currently unencumbered, but he is working on his music career, man. And if your videos, if your YouTube, if your online presence is any indication, you are out. You were out to kill, man. Out to proverbially, metaphorically kill when you go on stage, when you get in front of a microphone. You're the real deal. Man, I'm impressed already. But Bennett Breslow, for the people that don't know yet, give the people an idea of who you are.
For sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. And that was quite the introduction. So thank you very much. I appreciate that for sure. Yeah, so my name's Bennett. I'm a pop R&B recording artist, and I just love spreading love and positivity. And that's really what the message behind my music is that, love is the greatest gift we've been given. And it's something that all of us can, I feel like have a common denominator on. And for me, music has just always been something that has touched my heart and my soul in a special way. And those two things are really the biggest motivators of my life. And I thought, you know what, let's just put love and music together and create something really inspiring that hopefully can really touch people. So that's basically what I do.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett Breslow, it is what you do, man. You've been all right. I stayed on your Facebook. I mean, on your YouTube. You have a good online presence. I'm not sure if you do that all by yourself or if you have a team behind you.
No, I do it all by myself.
See, that is difficult. It's difficult to get to. All right, you can get to this level. You can get to the level where you're at. But to get to that next level, sometimes you need to have a team to help you out. But I guess you would call yourself an independent artist. But you have a skill that is rare. Not only can you rap, which you do very well, you can also sing. When did you figure out that you could sing?
So, just to clarify, I guess I do have a small team. So shout out to I have an amazing partner in music. Her name's Joya. She actually set this up for me tonight. So shout out to Joya. I have to give a big shout out to her and the Friendship Society, because we've just been working hard together on that. So I do have a small team. Yes, I'm very blessed.
It's good to give credit where credit is due. That's for sure.
That's absolutely, I have to, especially now. Like, I've been working with Joya for a few months and it's just been going great. And when you find somebody that really, works well for you, go with it. But back to your question. So with singing, when did I know? So I actually started singing before I started rapping. I had been singing since I was a young kid, and whether it was just like my bedroom or whatever the case, but I always loved singing and I always loved music. And I just kind of, as I got older, I was like, okay, like this is something that I want to get into and like do and have fun with and turn this into, a profession one day. And then, so I started singing first, but when I originally started writing my own music, it was all rapping. It was all rapping lyrics. So, and then I had like my whole Justin Bieber thing that I did for a while. And that was like really like the start to it all for me in terms of like singing. Cause like when I would travel around as him, I did like Justin Bieber impersonating for a year. And that was a lot of fun. But when I was out performing as him, I was really singing his songs. Like, it wasn't like a backing track or like you see some of these lookalikes and impersonators sing to like, the track and or sometimes they just lip sync. But no, I was doing the whole thing. I was learning his dances and I was out there putting on a show. And so that's when I was like, okay, like I really want to do this. Like, this is fun. And so that was it. Like, I had that moment that year and I really took it seriously after that.
Well, that's almost like a cosplay of another person. And I was showing some of the music videos that you have, of which you have quite a few, and not just music videos, but also videos of you doing your live performances. There's a sessions video that's like 2 hours long where you were just telling stories and playing music and singing songs. But I said to the wife, and she kind of agreed with me. I go, he's got kind of a little Justin Bieber vibe to him, but I see where you broke out from that. But it's good that you're giving the people gems. This primarily is a learning podcast, and we're learning from you today, Bennett Breslow.
Sure.
But you can break into the music business. You can break into the entertainment business if you got a niche. Even Ariana Grande famously goes on Jimmy Fallon and impersonates Celine Dion and Britney and Christina Aguilera and all these other artists. So it's nice to have that skill to where you not only have your own talent, your own style, but you also can emulate the styles of others, which means you could not only take it, to the Bennett Breslow show. People might find you and say, hey, you know what? I want to have you in my movie. And could you do this kind of an impersonation? Or you can act like you're a different
Exactly.
person. You don't necessarily have to be Justin Bieber. But what if you were? What if one of those? And I'm putting it out there to the universe. One of those
That's right.
those spoof movies comes out, and they said, we need a Justin Bieber sound alike or look alike. Yeah,
That's right.
and it's going to be like one of those spoof movies, and all of a sudden Justin Bieber shows up, and it's really Bennett Breslow as the Biebs.
Justin
Hey,
Bieber,
I'm a
that's
fan,
right.
man. I'm a fan. Are you a fan of Justin Bieber, or is it something? What is it? What is it that got you to do that in particular?
So it's actually a funny story. So I didn't know who Justin Bieber was. Now I'm a huge fan. Like that, he's a big inspiration in my own music. So now I'm a huge fan. But back when it originally happened, like I really didn't know who he was, and I was out one night with, I don't know, a group of friends or whatever, and somebody came up to me and was like, "Wow, you really look like Justin Bieber." I'm like, "Well, who is that?" Like, all right. So I went home, looked him up, and I was like, like all right, whatever. So the next time, this is what did it for me. I was actually at a Demi Lovato concert, and I think I was with like the girl I was with at the time. We went at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, and we were eating dinner. And at the restaurant, I was having people come up to me and like want to take pictures with me, and like I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but like I didn't put one and two together. So we go in, the concert's starting, and we just get bombarded by girls, like dropping to their knees, freaking out. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like, who do they think I am? So security actually asked us to leave till the show started. So they like kept us to the side for a while. So finally, whatever, I found a girl who realized that I wasn't him, and I was like, who do they think I am? And they're like, oh, Justin Bieber. I was like, oh wow, okay. So show's done, we're leaving, and security stops us. We were starting to like create like a hazard because we were like swamped by girls. Like it was crazy, it really was. And they made us like sit in the casino for a while till like it died down, and it didn't die down. They took us up the back staircase to the parking garage to get to the car, and like we're just walking. We turn around because we're finally about to be at the car, and the security is just like holding like waves of girls off, and I was just like, this is crazy. And so like the next day I was like, well, let's look into this. You know what I mean? Like there could be something. And I actually had an agency find me, and they contacted me, and I built a great relationship with the owner, and I signed my contract, and that was kind of that. But so now years later, like I can say like, yeah, I'm a fan of Justin Bieber's, and I love his music, and I think he's an incredible talent. And yeah, so I take a lot of that with me.
Well, there's a guy that had to grow up in front of the spotlight. Okay, if people had cameras in front of my face 24 hours a day while I was growing up from 16 to 22, yeah, I would have screwed up quite a bit. People would have seen
for sure.
all the stupid stuff that I did when I was a kid. So yeah, I feel for him, you know, and I know I'm glad that he grew up. But okay, for people that are watching the video, they're going, well, he doesn't look much like Justin Bieber. If you watch some of the videos, you had the blonde hair, you really, you know, if you combed it a certain way, you can really play the persona, and even the tattoos could do it. But that's a way to break into the business, you know, to get that niche. You know, people are always looking for that way to get in. And I guess Justin Bieber started out on YouTube, but that's where he got his start as well. You know, and people found him there. Now, where did this agency find you?
I think it was social media. I think it was either Twitter. It could have been YouTube, because we were posting a lot of videos to kind of get myself out there. So I think it was either Twitter or YouTube. I'm not so much big on Twitter anymore, but back when I feel like the rise of social media first really took off,
well,
everybody was on Twitter.
You wonder if it happens, the Hollywood story, the California story, the New York story, if people get discovered still. And I guess people do still get discovered. And I guess it's not in person a lot of times. A lot of times it's social media. It makes it a little bit easier to find somebody from all over the world. You know, okay, the story that just popped into my head when Journey, lost Steve Perry as a singer. I guess his
Yeah.
throat got messed up. Well, they found Arnel Pineda all the way on the other side of the world in the Philippines, and he was a sound-alike for a band that he had called Zoo, and he was singing a lot of 80s music, and in his repertoire was Steve Perry, and he could sing just like Steve Perry. So now he's the lead singer for Journey. But I'm not saying that you're going to take over for the Biebs. You got your own thing going. You've broken away from that. But you're in New York City. Yeah, I'm guessing that's where you were born and raised. If I read your bio correctly, you're in a city.
I was raised there. I wasn't born. I was born in Pennsylvania, but I was adopted at like 7 days old. So
close.
You could essentially say I was born there.
Close enough. Pennsylvania is just a skip and a jump away. If you've been in New York City or in the surrounding areas since you were 7 days old, I think you can call yourself a New Yorker. But you're in a town with 7 million of your closest friends. It's hard to break away. It's hard to make a name for yourself with all these people that are striving to be heard, to be seen. But you're doing it, man. You're doing the job. It's nice that you have people that are helping you along. And I'm glad that you're here in front of me, because I'm going to say, oh, I knew Bennett Breslow when he was at this level. Now he's way up at that level, at the next level. But tell me about little Bennett growing up. You said you started singing. It's okay. If I look at your bio, 2 years old. What songs you singing at 2 years old?
I mean, so we'll take it back. We'll take it way back. Please. So, I'm transgender.
Okay.
And growing, I transitioned maybe, I don't know, 2017.
Okay.
And, music was just kind of like this thing for me as a kid that I could just really escape to. But yeah, no, I started singing young. Like I look back at like home videos that my dad and my mom took. And I happened to actually find one not too long ago. And it was like me and my sister like playing around or whatever, but like I was like putting on a show, and I was like, oh, okay. So like, this really is like a personality trait that, I have had my entire life. So yeah, I mean, it was just a variety of music. Like growing up, before I was born, actually, my dad was a playwright, and he was writing musicals and plays and songs like all over the place. So music was always being played at my house. I mean, everything from like Barbra Streisand to Ella Fitzgerald to the Beatles to Elvis. I fell in love with Mariah Carey at a very young age, and that was it for me. That's when I was like, I want to do that. Just her voice changed my life. So
okay, well, this is very topical for me personally. Okay, I have a child that I've raised as a girl all the way up to 17, and just last week she decided that she is now wants to transition, or at least wants to identify as a boy.
Yeah.
And that's something that you went through.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, was it hard? It can't be easy, because, all right, she ran off. My wife and I had to go and get her in Detroit. I'm in Arkansas right now. We drove to Detroit, and my brother and sister happened to be in Washington, which is a little more liberal state than Arkansas. You know, I think he'll do a lot better in Washington than he would do in Arkansas. So they met us and took my child to Washington, and we've kind of been coming to grips with the transition. I mean, I know this might be a personal journey for you, but if you could disclose, if you could help the next person out, how did you do that transition? Because you are, I mean, it looks like you're fully, thank you. You're fully accepting the Bennett Breslow.
That's right. I think, it wasn't overnight. It wasn't. Like, it took me a long time to come to terms with who I was and who I am. And I'm very much the kind of guy, or at least transgender man kind of guy, that, you know, I just want to be recognized as a guy, and that's a plus in my, you know, to who I am. It's not necessarily who I am, which I think that we all, I think, is just people can get wrapped up in, is suddenly, you know, somebody comes out as transgender and now that's who they are, you know, and it's suddenly there, that's the identity. And I had to kind of get comfortable with that, you know, like, it wasn't something that I was fully comfortable with. It took me a long time to come to terms with that. And some people might argue when I say come to terms, but it wasn't something that I was like, yeah, like, let's go. Yeah. Who, you know, like, I'm not, I wasn't at that point. And obviously now, you know, I'm going on my 6th year, and, you know, I've had my top surgery. I've been on hormones now going on 6 years, and I'm preparing for other things through my transition. But it was a very difficult moment, especially as a musician. You know, I knew there were some changes that I was going to go through, and I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to kind of get back into the routine of things. And, you know, I do know some transgender men who are musicians as well, who have decided not to take hormones because it can mess with their voice and everything under the sun. And so I was like, but no, I have to do that for myself. I need to, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it fully and commit to it. And, you know, I don't think it was a huge surprise to everybody, you know, like, obviously as parents, like, I'll give it to my parents. Like, my parents have really done an incredible job. When I first told them I was going to transition, it wasn't, again, they didn't throw a party for me. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't some like over enthusiastic thing. Like, no, it was a very, very difficult moment for my parents. And, so I have to give them a lot of credit. And I say this, I'll say this to you as well, because now you're a parent with a newly out transgender child. And I actually posted about this on social media, because I think that a lot of us transgender people who come to our parents and say, okay, this is who I am, and now you must accept it. Well, it's like, well, that's not really the reality. You know, like, sometimes it does take people a bit longer, especially parents, to, I wouldn't say to come around, but kind of fall into the flow of this new person. Like, obviously, you know, we're the same inside, but we are going through some physical things. And so we have to learn to give our parents some grace and time, like a grace period, if you will, to kind of, like, you know, go with the motion of things. It's, again, it wasn't an overnight thing. I didn't look in the mirror and say, Yahoo, this is who I am. I was like, no, like, okay, like, this is who I am. Great. Now what can I do to, like, feel even more like myself? You know what I mean? So, I feel great now. I'm on a great journey. I'm on a great path. I really have no complaints, but that initial moment where I really came to terms with who I was it was a moment.
Well, I appreciate that so much, that you've you know, divulged some of that and gave me a little bit about your journey. I mean, because as a parent, yeah, I'm still kind of in shock. You know, I had no idea. You know, I knew that my child, you know, was attracted to both. You know, we watch movies, and I could see a guy and go, oh, it's a good looking dude. And I could see a girl, that's a good looking girl, you know, and I know it's all fluid and such, but there's, you know, to just say, hey, I want to be a boy. And it's hard enough growing up without having that extra added pressure. And I'm sure there was a little more pressure, you know, to be one or the other, or be what you always were and not change. But hey, you've done it. You've gone through it. You're over the top. 6 years now. I mean, and that's just a small facet of who you are, or maybe it was who you always were. And, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of it. My brain is not wired the same way, but maybe you were always Bennett Breslow, and the other person was somebody that was just growing holding
A
your place.
placeholder.
Yeah. Holding your place.
placeholder.
You got it.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on. But you were singing with your sister growing up, doing
Yeah.
shows for the family.
That's right.
Does your sister still sing? And does she duet with you?
No, actually, no. God bless my sister. She's a married lady now with two very young children. She's a credible school teacher, and yeah. So no singing for her. We'll harmonize every once in a while in the kitchen, but yeah, no. Those were some really great moments growing up, and I'm glad I was able to share that. But yeah, no, she's out there doing her thing. She really is incredible. So shout out to my sister.
Any of those videos or recordings that the parents might have taken? Because the guys at Star Search and The Voice, they want to have that background video as you growing up. Whenever you do one of those exposés, hey, Bennett Breslow was not always like this. This is Bennett when he was singing with his sister way back when.
That's right.
And
yeah, no, we got tons of it.
Videos
and videos. That was the thing. And my dad was always walking around with like a video camera growing up. So,
well, being a creator himself, he's a playwright. You said he was. Hey, anything that got on stage? I'm guessing something got on stage. Any of his stuff get on stage at all? Published?
I think on smaller stages, not directly on Broadway. I would have to ask him the names of some stuff, but yeah, no, he stopped right when they found out. I think it was around the time when they found out they were going to adopt me. So it was very quick, I think, from what I remember in terms of the transition from playwright to working for the College Board, the company that does the SATs.
He gave up the playwriting when he adopted little Bennett Breslow, and he became a teacher or some kind of administrator, I guess.
He ran the whole thing pretty much. He was believe he was the director of the College Board or something like that.
Oh, he got himself a real job.
Yeah.
It's tough being an artist, man. It really is. The entertainment business, the money's good, but the work's not steady. You got to hustle. Right. And if you're not ready to do it, you might want to have one of those fallbacks where they, pay you enough to take care of a family. He did the right thing, man. He's a good dad. A good husband, good dad, and definitely did the right thing. Gave up a little bit of what he wanted to do to make you better. And that's what we do for our kids. We work ourselves to the bone so our kids can have better. And so Ben,
absolutely.
I mean, you're growing up in a house. What's your mom up into?
So both of my parents now are retired, but my mom was a freelance medical writer. So she would write about different drugs that are on the market. And so the pamphlets that you would see at the doctor's office about different medications, she was the one writing those.
Wow, that's talent. The people need to know about what's going in their bodies. And I guess she had to have some kind of a medical knowledge to know what the drugs that are being prescribed are doing. So that's very smart. I was in the medical business a little bit. Nice. Worked in the ER.
Okay.
As a EMT paramedic type
Good
thing.
For you.
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. So, I mean, you're growing up. What kind of trouble you getting into, or what kind of extracurricular activities, and how, were you a good student?
I was not, I would say, the best student. I definitely had my moments where I was just completely I'm over school. I was a very big athlete. I was an all-American basketball player pretty much. So I ended up getting scouted for college. I went to college. I had a bit of an accident, so there went the basketball. But that's when I found music. That's how I chose to start making music, because I couldn't play basketball anymore. And the goal was to go 4 years in college and then go play professional basketball. So that would have been my life.
Wow. Hurt. We always have crossroads in our life where things could have taken a different turn. So without that injury, people would not have known the Bennett Breslow singing,
That's
they would have
right.
seen you shooting hoops,
Playing basketball. Yep.
Yeah, throwing up. It's amazing, the turns. And I mean, let's get a timeline. When did you graduate high school?
Ooh, 2005.
2005. So
Yeah.
2005, you're out of high school. In New York City. You got the big city. And what do you do?
So I actually deferred for a year instead of going straight off to college. I took a year off. I got some life experience. I got a couple jobs. Still played basketball. Obviously, I had to stay in shape for getting scouted and things like that. But yeah, I took that year off and I just lived life and, like I said, gained experience and learned some stuff along the way. And yeah, and then I went off to college. It was the end of August 2006, I want to say.
Well, did you stay in the city? What kind of jobs did you do? What kind of experience did you get?
Yeah, so I worked like, I don't know, they were just like easygoing jobs, really. Like it was like retail stuff. So
Okay.
it wasn't like, I guess, in terms of work, like I'll say this, I didn't really have a fully conventional job before that. Like I would work like little things here and there when I was a kid. So, but so it was like retail. It was this company. I don't know if they're still around. They're called Quicksilver.
Okay.
They like a surfing company. And so they had their flagship store out in Times Square. And so I would work there, and I was there for, I don't know, 6 months, I'd say, about a half a year, I want to say. And then I went to Quiznos. So in terms of the jobs, it was like like little stuff here and there, but I had, I had some stuff I had to work through, I think, to actually be able to go away and have it, somewhat successful. Obviously things didn't turn out great, but yeah, so I just, it was a learning experience,
Hey, don't discount Quiznos, man. Don't discount Quiznos. It's toasty, man. I started.
Right. Yeah,
I was a kid. I worked
so
at Swenson's Ice Cream and KFC.
Nice.
So yeah, there's good experience there, man. I think any kid needs to work in fast food at one time in their lives, and
for sure,
and find out, like serving people. Being in the service of people. Yeah, it's a good experience. It's good, and you working on in a basketball team, teamwork. That's another thing.
For sure.
Put your kids in sports. Maybe not necessarily the ones where they bang their heads together too much. Man, there's controversy there. I don't know. I never played the foosball, but I was a swimmer. I was in the swim team. So yeah, it's nice to have team skills and part of individual achievement. And the kids that are all getting prizes just for participation. I don't know about that. I think you have to win the game. You have to learn how to win and learn how to lose sometimes.
That's right. It's true. It's a learning thing for sure. You definitely do have to learn that.
And everybody. I think I just heard NASA say, like when their rockets fail. No, it's not a failure. It's your first attempt at success. I like the way that's put. And I notice, people that are listening to the audio version, there's little hints about who you are in the background of the video version. I see the American flag up there, and I see Star Wars. Right. I see Star Wars. Yes. Hey, that's the geeky universe, man. Tell me about it. I mentioned briefly when you were doing the Bieber thing that you were into cosplay a little bit. That's kind of a geeky thing. But tell me about you and Star Wars and America.
America. Yeah, I'm a proud American, man. Like I love my country. I love where I'm from, and I love the flag, and I love representing that. So that's what's up with the American flag. With Star Wars is, I'm like a Star Wars super fan. I've got tattoos, my room. That's just a small portion of my memorabilia. It's pretty much all over the room. But yeah, no, I was a young kid, and it was like the anniversary of like the original trilogy or whatever. And we were in Walmart one day, and it was like me, my sister, my mom, my dad, and They were selling this like commemorative box of like the 3 VHS tapes of the original, and so my dad bought it and showed it to us, and that was it.
Grandpa,
that was it.
Grandpa, what's a VHS tape, Grandpa? I don't know what that is. But no, man. Hey, and I'm sure you watched the movies that I didn't. I watched a different movie back in 1977 than you watched on that box set. There was so much extra added in, and yes, Guido shot first, or hand shot first. Hand shot first.
Hand shot first.
Yes, the T-shirts, the memes. If you didn't see the version, were hand shot first. You just don't know. But hey, Star Wars is this whole thing. It becomes a part of you, and I like Star Wars and Star Trek, okay, and Doctor Who, and all. I'm into it all, and Battlestar Galactica, and I like all things geekdom, and I get to go to Comic-Cons. But I guess, man, New York Con is huge. Have you been to those?
I went one time. And it was years ago, but I was blown away. It was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. I love a convention, but with things like that, like Star Wars and like comics, I love comics. I love action figures and like collectibles and stuff. I was like in heaven. It's insane.
What's your comics? If you picked up a graphic novel, what was your comic growing up?
So I really liked Wolverine and Spider-Man comics. Yeah. I loved it. I don't know where it is, and it really bugs me because I had one. It was an X-Men comic. It was like first edition. It was one of the originals that was like first made, and I have no idea where it went, but it was in great condition, so somebody has it. It's worth a lot of money.
X-Men for me growing up was really big. And I tried to figure out whether I'm more DC or more Marvel. And looking back, Captain America was my favorite, and Thor. And my favorite X-Man is always going to be Gambit, the Cajun lover with the cards and the charging. But I appreciate all that fantasy. Some people will dismiss those films as fantasy, and they don't have substance, but they do. There's a reason why Star Wars has lived for so long, because it is the hero's journey. It is a classic film that's just been brought up into the future. I guess technically the past, a long time ago in a galaxy far away. But right. I mean, it affects people, and obviously it's affected me. I mean, I get excited when I see a poster like that. I mean, behind me, I got my radio stuff, but over that way, there's, Superman, Wonder Woman. There's Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. And I just said that I like Marvel better, and there's the holy trinity of DC, staring at me in the face. But no, it becomes a part of you. But tell me about, okay, you grow up. You get out of the house, you do your 1 year, you go to college. What did you study? What did you want to be when you grew up?
So it's like so random. So when I originally left for school, I had my major picked out. It was like sports science with like a minor in kinesiology. Because, I'm an athlete, so that would make sense. 2 days in, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. This is like, was it the math? Was it the science? Was it the English? What was it? I think it was all the above. Like, I just wasn't having it. I was like, I don't know what this is about. Like, I can't get it. So you ready for this? So I went from that to equine science and stable management.
Horses? You did horses? What made you go to horses? What, was it a girl? Was it a guy? Was it somebody?
No. Not even, no. I love horses. They're my favorite animal. They're beautiful and majestic. And growing up in the city, like we saw like the carriage horses and stuff. And like, unfortunately, they're not treated the best. And, it's a big city, so there really aren't that many stables. Like there are a couple actually uptown. But in terms of like, the country where it's like made for horse. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's just a different environment. So yeah, no, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And I started doing it. We had to be up at the barn at like 5 a.m. every day for barn duty. And then our last barn duty was like 9 at night. So it was like a very long day, 7 days a week. And then I had basketball on top of that. And then again, like my college days were very short lived because I had an accident very early on into my schooling. But, yeah, no, I loved it. It was incredible. I loved the horses. So
no, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale in the Davie area. They have a big rodeo there, and I appreciate the horses, and I appreciate people that take care of their horses. I am driving around town here in Central Arkansas, and I happen to go down this road, and there's a horse that's in, I guess, a makeshift, maybe a stable of sorts, you know, plastic covered.
Oy.
It's barely in. The room is maybe 3 horses big. So this horse is kind of walking in circles. You need to have more room if you're going to keep an animal like that, a majestic animal, a big animal. You need big space.
Sure.
And I can imagine that you feel it if a horse isn't being treated, or any animal. You know, I'm sure, even in the equine, you're kind of branching out a little bit more veterinarily. Is that even a word? Veterinary? But
it should be if it isn't.
But you know, you feel it when animals are not treated the best they can be. But sure. I wish that horse had more space. But can I say anything? Hey, it belongs to somebody else. And
that's right.
Should I get in a conflict? No, not really.
No.
Yeah, is it worth it? I feel for the horse, man, and it hurts my heart. But I mean, you didn't go far in the equine. That you didn't finish that.
No, no. I ended up leaving school maybe 3 months after it started.
All right.
It was just, college was not my thing. It was not it for me. It was it was probably one of the hardest times of my life.
Oh, I've been to college a bunch of times. Most of the time, it's for like a certificate. I think vocationally, that is where it's at for me. I did like electronics and firefighting. That was like 2 months, a semester here, a semester there, you know, just enough to get that. You know, the EMT was 2 semesters. The paramedic was another year, you know, so it was a short-term goals rather than doing these long, you know, chemistry, not for me, you know, the chemistry, the math, the science. It's hard to shove all that book knowledge. You want to get out in the street and get to work. And that's what you're doing with the music career. You're on the streets and getting to work. So tell me about, you know, where are you finding your beginnings of Bennett Breslow, the entertainer, the performer, live on stage? Are you doing karaoke nights? Are you doing open mics? Are you jumping into studios? How are you finding these people?
Yeah, so I actually have my own studio at home, very small bedroom studio, but any song that you hear from me, I've done myself. I record, I mix and master all my music. Nice. I make the beats from scratch. I love I just love it. It's just, the process for me is really what it's about, and I love being able to say that I've created like something like that just has no time limit, has no time frame, that it's just like this thing that's going to go on forever and ever. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that kind of gets overlooked with music, you know.
Oh, those that are listening to the audio version of this didn't see the look of surprise on my face when he said he makes his own beats. Okay, it's one thing to sing over somebody else's beats, to rap over somebody else's beats. I know that there's people that spend so much time making beats. It takes a lot of time. Yes, if you open up your Fruity Loops, your FL Studio, it's going to come with a sample beat. But then really the discerning person it's very time consuming to make beats. I know I've played with those things, you know, because back in the 1900s, when I was a baby DJ, we would steal is an accurate word. Sample. We'd sample other people's music and sing over the top of it and rap over the top of it, and that's how we got our beats. But now you can't do that because there's legality. Oh, they're gonna take you to court. Yeah, which is well within their right. Yes, somebody took the time to make this music. You don't want somebody ripping you off. But Bennett Breslow, you just got more respect from me. How are you making your beats, man?
So it's a combination of a lot of things. It could just be I whip out my guitar and, I find inspiration in that, or I'll take loops and chop them up and do all different kinds of things to them and kind of remake the sound. Or I'll get on the piano and just start, playing a few keys and see where it kind of leads me. And then it's this like trickle effect of one thing leads to another and then another. And just yesterday I made a new beat and I was on the computer for like 12 hours. I think it was. I got on the computer at like 8:00 in the morning. And I think I got off the computer at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Even with like the snap to place, the drum's going to be exactly right. It's going to be 4/4 or 1/5, whatever beat you want. You could snap them right into place. But 12 hours to get the beat just right, to get the drops, to get the fills, to get the hi-hat, to get the 808, to get all these different little sounds in the right place. And then you got to, all through this, the advantage is that you have the song in your head. You kind of know what you want. When you were singing it, when you were writing it, you go, oh, I want this. But then to make it yourself, hey, you just kind of disclosed you play guitar. How good are you at playing guitar? And when did that happen?
Oh my gosh. Here's the thing, right? By now I should be like a pro. And I'm not. I really don't even, I'll be honest, I really don't know how to play the guitar. Like, I'm not trained. My parents bought me my first guitar at 7 years old. They threw me in guitar lessons for years. And with my ADHD, like, I just couldn't focus. So, like, it was I felt terrible about it. But now, like, everything that I do is just based on sound. So if something sounds good, like, I'll play like a couple, I guess they're chords. Like, I'm learning. But yeah, before like a couple months ago when I like buckled down, I was like, okay, I want to learn how to actually play the guitar. Like I'll pay attention, whatever, I'll stay focused. I was literally just playing by ear. Like if something sounded good to me and it had a little, spice to it, I'd make it into a song. And like, that's what I've been doing. And like now again, like I feel like I should really take the time to learn these things. But yeah, no, like I'm good, but not professionally good.
Well, Bennett Breslow, that's just another niche. You go to a rap show or a hip hop show, and then here's Bennett Breslow with a guitar strapped on his back or in his chest, and people are going to freak out. They're going to go, that's just a little extra added bonus that they did not expect. So if you can play two chords, man. Two-finger Ted, if you can play anything, if any sound that sounds any kind of good comes out of the guitar that you've been playing, that's gonna add more flavor to your show. That's fantastic, man. But I'm kind of a gearhead. I like things to sound right. Even on this podcast, I went ahead and obviously I got the Shure SMB sitting here, SMB7 sitting here.
Yeah, you got a nice setup.
It's really good. It sounds good. I got the Rode Podcaster that makes everything mix right. But tell me about the gear. People that have home studios for about $1,000, maybe $2,000, you can have yourself a home setup. I mean, tell me about the 100%. Gear that you have set up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got some really great stuff. I'm very keen on being cost efficient, so budget friendly. So for my audio interface, I used the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Really liked it. Read a lot about it. So I started doing that a couple years ago, got that. And then I used the 770, the MXL. Have you ever heard of MXL?
Oh yeah.
They make microphones. Yeah. I've been using those since I started making music. I used the 770. For headphones, I use the Sony. These are the MDRs, the studio monitors. Love these because I live at home with my parents, so I don't have like actual studio speakers,
Right.
the monitors. So I mix and do all my stuff on my headphones. And then for my computer, this is where I kind of like went fully in, and I built. I love tech. I'm big on electronics and technology, so I built a custom PC. And it's, I guess it'd be considered like a gaming computer, just because like it has high end parts, but just with the magnitude in terms of like how I make my music, I need my stuff to be running efficiently. And like, I needed that real big upgrade in terms of the computer just to make things work properly. So that's pretty much. And then for my guitar, I have a Squire. They're a company that's owned by Fender.
Yep.
It's an acoustic guitar. And then for my keyboard, it's an Alesis, I believe. The V49. Really like that. Really good. I started on the what was it? Akai, the smaller
little keyboard.
Keyboard. Yep. And that's really my gear. I don't have a whole lot of stuff, but I like what I have because it can do so much. Like I don't need a ton of equipment. And I have an electronic drum kit as well that so I can play the drums and not annoy my parents. But
but that's nice that you have the electronic
studio.
You can put the headphones on and although here is a little tap 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 here and there, but you have the ability to make a full sound. You have a whole band in your room with the acoustic guitar, the keyboard.
Oh, the electric guitar too.
Electric guitar as well, and then plus the drum kit. So you are so self-sufficient. You really don't need much more than that. So you say you scrimp a little bit, but you don't really. You know what you like, and you get the pieces that fit together properly. I mean, before I hit record on this thing, we were talking about this is a new computer, so I was having a little trouble getting your video up there. But I got an MSI gaming computer.
Nice.
All the bells and whistles. It's only got the i7, but it's the 11th generation with the GeForce in it. 3060.
I got the i7 as well with the GeForce as well.
See, and I do a lot of. I also stream video games, and I do karaoke parties and DJ as well. So it's nice. It's nice to have. If you're gonna put your mind to the business, whatever business you want to do, you got to get the right tools for the job.
That's it.
And it's nice that you divulged and you said, look, because all your stuff that you put out on YouTube, it is high quality. I can tell that you are discerning. There's the joke about the SoundCloud DJ, and they'll record something on their iPhone and put it out. I can't even say it's half, but it's not showing what you could do, and it does a disservice to your talent if you just get on the iPhone and I don't want to knock the quality of iPhone, because you can make whole feature movies using an iPhone. Good job, iPhone. You've done well.
No, I know what you mean.
But you need to have the ability to process, to mix, to master what you said you do. Yeah. And
there's a real industry standard.
There's not a lot of people that can do it all by themselves. There's a rare person, but it is time consuming. It took you 12 hours to make one beat. So
one beat,
dedication.
Just the beat alone.
That's dedication, man. That's devotion. You want this. You want this. And if you, if you do what I did today and peruse your YouTube, you're out there. You're already doing shows. So tell me about the shows that people can find you at, man. Or if they want to go to a Bennett Breslow show, are you going to be the studio musician, or do you want to break out and go on tour, all over New York, all over the country, all over the world? Where does Bennett Breslow want to go?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely want to in the long term. That's definitely the long term goal, is touring and traveling worldwide. It's funny, when I first started working with Joya, she asked me what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do as an artist, and I said I want to travel the globe performing. It's like, that's it, far and wide. I want to be able to put on a show for people, because it's not just about the show for me. Like, I really do try to bring something that makes everybody watching feel like they're a part of it, and they're not just watching it, or hearing a new song or a new artist. No, I want them to feel immersed in it. So right now we're working on getting some physical shows going, but for the most part, I do my virtual stuff. I perform on Instagram Live every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Come check me out. And I do covers, I do my original music, and we just have a good time. It's nice. I was doing sessions for a while, and unfortunately, Sessions Live shut down. But yeah, so I've moved over to Instagram, and I do TikTok as well every so often, but it's really Instagram. And yeah, so for right now, Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check me out.
Well, you say you do TikTok every so often. I looked at your TikTok, man. You got, it's like hit after hit after hit. You put a lot of content out on TikTok. Has it? Okay, my brother's on TikTok. He's the only one that I follow on TikTok, and he does like a little news, like a 3-minute snippet of news.
Nice.
He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. But that's
awesome.
It's amazing what you can do. I hope that it's paying you back, in dividends, either in
100%,
either in exposure or, I see that you're doing very well on your Instagram, and I hate that I said it that way, but that's what promoters and record companies and people that hire other people out, they go, what kind of a following does he have?
That's it.
That's what
all they care about.
It used to be, I went to go see him at a show. He rocked the house. Now it's, how many followers does he have on his Instagram?
Yep.
And you did that all by yourself, man. Or
thank you.
Maybe a little bit of help here and there from your friend that you already said about. But, for the most part, it's all Bennett Breslow. It's all
That's
you.
It.
You against the world. Not you against the world. You for the world. You wanted to be
That's
a part of the
right.
world and letting the world see you. You're going to be seen, man. I want you to be seen. So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
As we wind this thing down, I know I've taken some time from you, and I'm glad that you came on the show, but I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. By no means. We've only scratched the surface of who Bennett Breslow is. There's so much more to come. I want you to come back and talk and promote shows. Are there any shows that people can come see you at, or you want them to come, to your Instagram, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday nights?
Yes. Right now, I don't believe I have anything physical.
Okay.
I think I just have my virtual shows, but we are working hard to get those physical shows in place, because the stage is my favorite place to be, and I just love being able to exude that energy to the people who are watching and listening. So we're definitely working on physical shows, but as of right now, just come check me out. Instagram Live every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have a lot of fun. So I'm excited for it.
All right, so many people, so many places to be in New York City. There's got to be a space for Bennett Breslow to play.
That's right.
Come on, people, hire him out. Hey, how do you want them to find you? Do you want them to slide into your DMs, business only, or pleasure? Maybe, I don't know. Whatever you're open to. I mean, if they do find you on Instagram and they slide into your DMs, what are you open to? Collaborations, solo? What do you have a band? Do you have people that you work with?
No, actually. When I perform, as of right now, it's just backing tracks. I'm big on that because I do a lot of harmonizing in my songs, and that's a big thing for me. So I do have my backing tracks now. But yeah, eventually one day I would love a band. I would love background singers to kind of come in and help out with those harmonies. But yeah, I think just right now we're doing the virtual stuff, but yeah, so like come find me on Instagram. That's where I'm at all the time. Like you said, I'm constantly posting stuff. So That's really been like the key to where I'm trying to build my following, is that, and TikTok. I'm trying to grow on TikTok as well. But yeah, and I'm always open to collaborations. As long as the artist is serious and it's not just some, like, you know, at the end of the day, I hate to put it this way, but I'm a professional, and I do have a level that I try to maintain in terms of professionalism and standards. So no offense to anybody, but I've been there, done that kind of at this point in my career. I've been doing this a long time, and it's just nice to be able to see growth. I think for anybody who does anything. So yeah, again, I'm always open to collaborations. Contact me, shoot me a DM, and yeah, let's chat.
Yeah, it's hard to be in a band together, to get people to be where they're supposed to be at a certain time, certain place. It's much easier to be what you are, self-sufficient, have a laptop and a keyboard and accompany yourself, or the guitar, or the drum kit. I can,
exactly.
If you take one of those instruments with you to a Bennett Breslow show and show off that you have the skills to pay the bills, if you were.
That's right.
But hey, I saw the videos. Very professional, man. You can't be filming those by yourself. Who's doing those for you?
Which, the music videos?
The music videos, yeah.
No, I did those myself. I stuck I stuck my camera on a tripod, and then I just went to town with the editing.
This is me with the amaze face again. Here's the amaze face.
I will give it to my dad. There are a few that he helped me shoot, but for the most part, what you see is really just me standing in front of a camera on a tripod.
Amazing, man. I'm a child of the MTV era. I graduated in 1986, way back in the 1900s. So I remember when MTV was brand new and they actually used to play music videos, and that was part of an artist thing. After the 70s were over, the 80s came around, and you not only had to be talented on musicianship, you had to be pretty. And you got it all, man. You got it all, Bennett Breslow.
Thank you.
You're talented, you're pretty, and people need to see you. They need to hear you. They need to see you. But I want you to give shout-outs to people that have helped you along the way. If you want to give credit where credit is due, you've already given a couple more shout-outs. You could say those names again, and then we'll wind this thing down and take it home.
Absolutely, yes. So I just want to give a big shout out once again to you for having me. It's a pleasure, and I will most definitely come back to join you again without a doubt. This has been great. I need to give a big shout out to Joya and the Friendship Society for just holding me down and putting in the hard work and working with me and all the above that they do. Big shout out to my family, my best friend Hazel. Love her. She's been my biggest supporter with everything that I've done in the last 6-7 years. So big shout out to Hazel and just everybody who supports me. It's easy to say I've got a friend or a fan and X, Y, and Z, but to have people who really stick behind you and say no, he's going to be somebody, and I love his music, and he's passionate, and I see that really means a lot to me. And so shout out to everybody who just shows me love, because it doesn't go unnoticed. And that's it.
All right. Well, I'll put all the links to the various points of view. I know you have a website, IamBennettMusic.com, and then I have all your social links that'll be linked in the space below, as it were. But I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Bennett Breslow, give the last words for the people.
Sure. I would say that don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. We are all capable of achieving what we want to achieve in life. I've come from the bottom to literally this is the best moments that I've ever lived, ever. When nobody really believed in me, to where I am now is a complete different person. So I just want to say to anybody who's watching this and you have a dream, you have a goal out there, don't stop until you reach it. I don't care how old you are. I don't care your circumstances, what you're doing in life. Go out there and fight for what you love, and I promise it's going to reward you.
Well, there you have it, party people. Bennett Breslow. So many facets of who that man is. Yeah. the boy from New York City, and going out to the world. I encourage you, check out the YouTube. If you don't do anything else, check out his YouTube. Just look up Bennett Breslow on YouTube or click the link below, and you'll find some great content. And he says he wants to get his TikTok up. So if you're hanging out on TikTok, give him a click, give him a like, do it. Check out the content that is Bennett Breslow. And it's pretty much a one-man show, all him. That's talent. That's talent. That's rare. And it's not, it's good product. He's produced himself. You could tell by watching and listening to the content that he puts out there. He cares. He cares about what he puts out there. So, yeah, so glad to have you, Bennett Breslow, on the show. Thanks for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, I'm turning my attention to you, my loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.